Hello, so this is Dion again, and now I'm going to continue the basics tutorial series. And now I'm going to talk about the agent tool basics. So agents can have tools assigned to them, and the agent then can use those tools to achieve a specific goal. I'm mainly going to talk about custom tools, but I will also show you some of the native tools that are provided. They are very simple to use, but they can already give you a lot of extra powers. I'm going to show you in the editor. If you followed the basics agent tutorial, then you will probably have something like this in your editor. And we are going to start from there. If you haven't seen it, please check that tutorial first. That will help a lot. Now I will simply focus on how to get this agent to use tools. So first, let's start with adding a native tool. I call them native tool. They are just like complete sets of tools. This is a DuckDuckGo integration thanks to Agno again. And I can simply attach this tool here and then to the agent or team. And then I can, already ask it a question. Now, to test this, I will have to ask it a question about a subject that it cannot know about, or that it does not know about. It can know about it, because I'm going to ask it about me. So, who is Dion Snoeyen? So, I am not in the LLMs or anything. So, it has to go online to, check information about me. Let's see if it does that. So the AI is thinking, apparently. You can see it working now, and you can see it start using the DuckDuckGo tool. And there we go. It found information about me. It even found my GitHub account and LinkedIn stuff. So that worked quite nice. This is quite useful. I'm going to integrate much more native tools. Right now it's only those guys here. This one, by the way, is very helpful. You can connect MCP tools to your agent. There are a lot of available MCP tools, so that could be quite useful. But I'm going to focus on custom tools first, because that is where you can do all the custom integrations. Let's say that we want to do something really simple, like adding two numbers together, and I can make a simple tool for that. So let's see. Let's choose a path tool, because that is named path tool. Why path tool? Because then the agent can choose its own path when it thinks it's applicable. A path tool here needs to be described quite well. Since we are going to add two numbers together, I will just call this addition path tool. I will also then give it a function name again, make sure that it's very clear to the agent what that tool or what that function is doing. So math add numbers, that would be pretty clear, I suspect. And then I'm going to connect the path tool to this agent input here. It's also going to need two parameters. So those parameters will, of course, be the first number and the second number that will be added together. And I will call the first one number A, and I say this will be added. In this case, it's so simple that it does not require a huge amount of instructions, but for more complex cases, you do want to be able to instruct even the arguments quite specifically. So number A, this will also be added. I think this is enough for this case here. So save dictionary, and now you can see here in the parameters that we have two numbers available. Now we have given this agent the opportunity to call this math add number tool when it thinks it's applicable, but it's not doing anything yet. I also want it to actually work. So let's add a very simple math node here, and I'm just going to connect those two numbers, and I'm going to path tool, what was it again, results. Oh yes, Agno tool result, because the agent in the end wants to know what the result of the tool calling was. So we have the Agno tool result here, and I'm also going to give it an argument, which is the math result. I'm going to do this. Oh, we can also, by the way, choose for whatever type this is going to be. For the result, that is not very important, by the way, as of yet. But here we can also say that those arguments, for example, should be integer. Could be very useful. In this case, that's useful, but not essential, but just so you know. So let's get the math result there. And now it should be so that if I'm going to ask it, what is 10 plus 10, now it should be able to detect that it has a tool. See? So it chose this tool, and then it went through this flow, gave the result back to the agent, and therefore it knows that it's 20. Now, I imagine that it would have known without it as well, but those are the mechanics of the tool calling inside of PolySynergy through Agno. The math result is 20. So now I'm going to clear those results because this is nice but not great. We can make it a little bit more interesting by making a receipt parser. What I want is that I give this agent a receipt, an image of a receipt, like for gas or for a restaurant or whatever, and then it will use a tool to bring that receipt to a certain JSON structure so that it can be posted to an API. Okay, so let's change this tool to be a receipt handler. So receipt handler, receipt tool, just make it clear, just clarity is everything that we need. So this tool is for parsing a receipt image into a JSON that can be used to submit data to an API, for example. So this was the description. Oh, I'm also just going to copy the instructions here so that it's super clear. The description is more, yeah, for convenience, I suspect. Okay, and now I'm going to make sure that I have a path for the receipt path, because the agent will send the path to this tool. At least that's what I want. That's what I wanted to do. So let's bring this to a string. This is the path where the receipt is stored. So I'm just going to save this. Now the tool is completely configured to handle incoming receipts. Since I want this receipt to have a specific format, I'm going to also, there's no specific receipt tool in there. I was already searching for receipt, but that is not what I want. I want the JSON example to the response model. Oh, that's weird because I just changed this node. I guess I should reload my browser and then JSON, let's see, response. Oh, that's weird because I changed this a little moment ago. So let's see. Oh no, of course, I'm just looking for the wrong. No, wait. I forgot one. Yeah, I forgot one naming change. This is not relevant to the tutorial. What I was doing was changing the naming a little bit of this node because it was confusing to me. So I did that and then I expected to see it here. And then it wasn't there, but now it's fixed. So what this node does is I can give this an example JSON, and from that example JSON, it will make a model, a pedantic model that is technically speaking, but that is required for the system to, well, make predictable output. So what I'm going to do is give it an example. And since I got this tutorial here, I already have an example somewhere of how I want the receipt to look like. So I'm just going to select this JSON here, and then I'm going to pass that to this example node. I just, you know, you can also construct a JSON visually, but for me, this is usually simply what I want. So I want to have the receipt type, the merchant. I want a number if it's on there, all of that stuff. See, if I go back here, then you have your more visual editor, which is also quite useful in many cases. Yes, I'm also going to add another agent, but this agent will not do much except for transforming the receipt into this JSON, and therefore we are also going to need settings, because we are going to have to set a response model setting. So response model settings, and then I'm going to connect this model to the output schema. So like this, because we are going to want predictable output. Then I'm going to connect this here to the response model. This agent is also going to need a model. Let's just use the exact same one as I get here. Oh, by the way, this is still 4.0. I'm going to update this node so it has the latest models as well, but for this example, this will work perfectly. Okay, let's just close them to save some space. Now there's one more thing, or a couple of more things. First of all, okay, we have a receipt path here if everything goes correctly, but I want that connected to the files here, but we cannot do that because files is not a list. This agent here accepts a list of files. So what I'm just going to do is get a variable list in, then I'm going to append this path to that list, and then I'm going to connect the list here to the files of the agent, and now it has now it can receive this well, this list of files. I just tidy up a little bit. Let's see if I'm still missing something. So we have the response model, we have the model. No, this looks like we are going in the right direction. What I'm also going to do is make sure, just as an extra, well, I think it's also required. I wouldn't know. I will test that later. But you will make sure the received receipt is transformed into the response model. And of course, I'm going to make sure that there is an agno tool result, so the agent can receive the result. So, I'm going to do that through an argument. So I'm just going to name that normalized receipt, which is a string. This contains the normalized receipt, which is a JSON. There we go. So let's see if this can parse the JSON. Let's connect the answer to the normalized result here, so then it can bring it all back to the agent. Okay, well, let's see. We got all this here. If I want to have a bit more space for the chat window, I just either press this enter chat mode button here, or I do Shift C, so I can see a little bit better what's going on. And from now on, we should be able to get a predictable parsed JSON from the input that I'm giving. So for example, it would have a key receipt type. Let's see. So here we have a parking ticket, a couple of them. This is a gas ticket. Let's do that. So we have a gas ticket. Can you handle this ticket? Yeah, gas ticket's also a ticket, but receipt for me. And then let's see what it does. So now it will initialize this setup again. Now it will know that it has this tool, right? And because it knows that, and I gave it a receipt, now it's parsing the receipt. So here it's going. You can see it work on it. The AI is thinking, it's already saying as well. This is taking a bit longer than I am expecting, to be honest, but it worked anyway. This I can change this a little bit, but I will do that later. So it will now say, oh, I got object. Okay, there it is. So this has been processed, but this response is coming from the agno agent itself, which will simply summarize whatever this guy here gave it to him. So what is actually important is to see if it adhered to the JSON example that we gave. So to do that, I will have to inspect the output. And the output here is on the EGNO result. And then we can see normalized receipt type and merchant and everything that we put into the example. It processed like this. Now, say that you want to add this to some kind of, I don't know, whatever administrative system that you have. You can, of course, expand upon the tool by making sure that this is going through a HTTP request. Now, I have not really set up an actual example for that, but I can show you hypothetically how that might work. And that is by introducing an HTTP request node. You might also want to validate the JSON first, by the way, so you can say, hey, valid JSON validator, configure the validator, put that JSON in there to make sure that it's actually proper JSON. Not going to do that now for the example, but say that you have a URL here, so some HTTPS API something, you know how it goes, and then set the method to post in most cases, and then you just give the answer to the body, and then finally probably have the success somewhere somewhat connected like this. Well, this is purely hypothetically, but I think you get the point. This is how you would configure custom tools, connect them to your agent, and have it do all kinds of custom things for you. So thank you for watching again. Please play around and contact me if you need help. No problem. Hopefully see you later and have fun. Bye bye.